Well, good morning, Passage community. My name is Jim Merle, and it's time once again for a little bit of biblical information that will hopefully lead to spiritual motivation in your life. How many of you can admit that this summer, really 2020 as a whole, has been very hard? It's been tough. It's been almost impossible for me at times to kind of keep my mind right, to keep a good attitude, to keep thinking like Christ would. I absolutely know that Christ would have a much better outlook on 2020 than I do, even as he was in human body on earth. He just was more positive than me, and I fail in so many ways. But I want to talk to you for just a moment from a verse from Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8, which is probably the most positive verse as far as kind of setting our minds up, setting up our attitudes so that we can think on the right things, because we could be thinking about all the troubles that are going on in life, whether it's the riots, whether it's the virus, whether it's the civil unrest, whether it's the political unrest, whether it's whatever's going on in your life. Some of you are struggling with finances because maybe you've lost your job, or at least the work that you do has changed, or maybe time has been put on short, whatever. Just a lot of things that are going on right now, a lot of struggles that are there that are really, really aggravating. I know for me personally right now, we just started back to school down here in the South, and although that sounds like a positive thing, like we're kind of getting back to norm, we're far from that. My children are only going to school 2 days a week and out 3 days a week, so we're pretty much homeschooling. What schooling is involved in that is partly online, partly in person. The children are confused. The parents are I'm in tears most nights. I mean, it's just hard. But again, how do we think positively? Philippians 4 and verse 8. Let's look at this mindset. Let's set our minds like this, and I promise you, things will be better. Here's what it says. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there be any excellent, if there be any worthy praise, here's the phrase I love: think on these things. Now, what does that imply? Well, that implies if we're supposed to be thinking on things like this, then we're not going to be able to think about the negative part. We're not going to be able to think about the really, really hard stuff. We need to be thinking positively, and I promise you that within itself will make our lives so much better. So let me encourage you today with this passage. Just do what God says. Do what God commands of us. Do what He gives us as advice to get the right attitude, the right mindset. And I promise you, and I have to practice this regularly. I have to remind myself of this, but I promise you, you'll feel so much better. You can wipe from your mind all the troubles of this life if we've got our mind filled on things like these. Thank you so much for joining me today, and until next time, stay faithful, my friend.